here I am. We used to play a game in which we'd pretend to be sisters. We called it Sister Sister. We were cool way before Tia and Tamara. I know you miss your sister. Growing up, it was always Nicole, Shane, and the girls. I haven't forgotten how close we were. The love I felt for you then is dust in the wind compared to the love I have for you today. I'm sorry I left you in the dark, but even I didn't know I was in the dark until I saw the light. My looks have changed, but this version of me is better. The facade is gone. My smile and my sobriety are evidence that I have much to live for. Ashley hasn't gone anywhere. She's become his best self now. Atticus is here. Here I am, and here is where I'd like to stay.
Hi, my name is Tanisha Marie Phillips. I live in Washington, D.C. I'm Black, white, and Puerto Rican, and I'm a trans woman of color.
My name is Millie, and I am from Managua, Nicaragua. And I came here when I was 4 years old. I became a United States Marine.
My name is Ruby Corrado, and I am Latina. I also have an indigenous background. And I was born in El Salvador, but grew up in Washington, D.C. since I was 16 years old, and I am transgender.
My name is Tori Parker Alexander, and I am an artist.
My name is Joe Apolito. I am a doctor of psychology, an educator, an activist, an advocate, a filmmaker, and an organizer, and I am a trans man.
I am a transsexual post-op. I am a single mother. I have 3 children that are not biologically my children, but they're my children. I am an activist, and I am an actress.
Hi, my name is Raji, and I'm a multiracial individual. My father was East Indian, and my mom is American, and she's a mixture of French, Native American, and Black. I'm transgender.
I knew that I was transgender at age 3. I had definite clarity that there was something different about me than other individuals, not only within my family, but also amongst my friends and the other children. And I was very clear that it dealt more with my actual gender and not so much later in life sexual orientation. So I definitely knew clearly at age 3.
Making friends was very difficult because I didn't identify as a, female, and I didn't, obviously, there was things that I was missing as a male, so it was kind of hard. I was always the quiet, timid type, and it wasn't until I guess my junior year that I met another woman from LGBT community who kind of introduced me to what our community was like, and that there were other people like us, and that I was not alone. And that initial mentorship that I received from her it couldn't come at a better time.
I knew I was trans around the age of 10. I used to walk on my tippy toes a lot, and every fantasy I had was me as a woman. Eventually, at the age of 14, I decided to pursue my transition.
Wow, when I look in the mirror, what do I see? Well, I guess it depends on the day and what mood I'm in. But no, really, I think there's days where I look and I don't really feel a particular gender. Like, I don't feel female, I don't feel male. I kind of like I'm in this zone, like maybe straddling both worlds, like straddling the 2 genders. And I think that makes me unique.
The word honest to me, it means to be to be clean, to be clear, to be sincere about whatever you're saying or whatever you're talking about, and to be truthful to yourself and to everybody else. That's the point of view that I have about honesty.
For me, after the age of 40, there's a certain degree of authenticity that kind of comes about that maybe you didn't have when you were younger. And it's not that I wasn't authentic in my identities as a younger person, but I think that you start to solidify a clearer picture of yourself as you become older. And so that certainly has been a part of it for me.
Being honest to myself means actually coming to terms with all of my trauma and building a plan on how to move forward.
Being honest with myself means not denying any part of myself for anybody, for any reason. I'm a lot of things. You know, I have a lot of labels that I feel comfortable with. I'm trans, I'm non-binary, I'm a Christian, I'm a person, I'm an artist. And I don't want to deny any part of myself because someone says I won't fit in or someone says it's not allowed. And I want people to respect that about me as a person.
Growing up, people always made me feel like I was not deserving of love because I was a young feminine boy and eventually became a transgender woman. For a big part of my life, people made me feel that I was not supposed to be loved. But there was always something inside of me that I felt that I needed to begin loving myself. So from an early age, I embraced me, and particularly after I transitioned, I actually fell in love with myself a little more. And my whole life, I love this body. I transitioned my body to love it.
And when I found my sexuality, I thought, this is it. I've got the whole puzzle figured out. That's it. And then I went to college and I was exposed more to the queer community, and I thought, that's cool. You know, all this information was really cool and new to me. And I went back home for break and I was just brushing my glorious long hair at the time, brushing it, and I said, watch me be gender fluid. And it clicked. I was like, everything, the wheels were turning, everything went click, 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 and I went, my whole life makes sense. It was this really defining moment for me, and I just had to make sure. I was asking my friends, I was looking stuff up online, I was praying about it, I was doing everything I possibly could to learn more information. I said, I need to make sure I'm right before I come out. I need to make sure before I tell everybody, because I cannot live a lie. This needs to happen right now. And it was just this really overwhelming sense of joy that I finally understood who I was. And yet at the same time, I realized that the puzzle that I thought I had finished had this new piece all the way over here, and I still had so much more to learn. I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do with all of it?
At the time I was living in New York City, this was in 2001, I had moved from New York City to Philadelphia. I was at that point identifying as an androgynous woman, I guess, or at one point a genderqueer identified person, as a butch woman. For me personally, those identities never really kind of fit. I wanted to have more masculinized facial features and things that would inevitably come from testosterone. So I moved to Philadelphia. I started my doctoral program at that point in time, and I felt like it was a good time to take that step. But for me, it was that pivotal period of my life when I realized that at that time, if I wanted to move forward and be my authentic self, I needed to take those steps.
Transgender means a lot. I think first and foremost, for me, when I say that I'm transgender, it's a statement of living my authentic truth. Living my authentic truth against many odds.
The most important truth for me is one thing and one thing only, and that is love. I feel that no matter how you present yourself in the world, that it's really important not only to love others, but also be loving towards yourself, which has been a big challenge, particularly as a transgendered individual.
The most important truth to me would be staying true to what I believe in. I feel like every human, regardless of how they identify, should have their rights, and they should definitely fight for them.
My truth is that I am just a person who goes to church on Sundays and likes to draw. And I'm just a person. I'm not a girl, I'm not a boy, I'm a person. And I don't want anybody to ever try to take that away from me. And I don't want anybody to ever try to change that in history. It's just who I am.
What helped me out coping was a good support group, friends that understood you, saw you for you. And for me was my faith, believe it or not. I knew that even though people were telling me that I was defective, that I was wrong, that I shouldn't even exist, that I was just a complete abomination. That's my favorite one.
Casa Ruby is an LGBT organization that serves the LGBT community in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. We have direct services, including housing, health services, employment and career services. And part of the housing services includes emergency housing, transitional housing, and recently we opened a shelter that is open during the winter hours from 7 at night to 9 in the morning. And altogether, the organization is dedicated to serving the needs of the most vulnerable in the LGBT community.
You know, I have to be honest with myself. I have to be real with myself. And I have to love myself. And by loving myself and going to therapy, I have learned that I have to be happy in my own skin. And I am happy in my own skin. And that's when I decide to change my life. And I decide to help my people, my LGBTQ people from all over the United States. And I became part of this coalition named Trans-Latina Coalition. And I just to help all the new transgender that are coming up so they don't make the same mistakes that I have done.
If I had a chance to say something to someone who was judging me, I would just like them to know that I am no different from anyone else. I have faced some of the same statistics that everyone else has.
Why can't I feel like I'm neither girl or boy, or both girl and boy? Why do I have to be one thing just because you decided it? Why can't I just be me? And it usually gets people thinking. So at least that's opening a door that they didn't have before.
People have actually put many labels on me. Many times I didn't embrace those labels. They call me fea, they call me ugly Indian, they call me, dark, negra. But there was a point where also people started calling me a leader.
Don't allow fear to be the deciding factor as to how you approach your life. Don't allow others to define your own identity. And that can be very, very hard because there's a lot of societal pressures. Society can be very rigid in how they treat people that are different. Instead of being destructive to yourself, I would strive to embrace those differences and make a difference with them.
I would like to be just remembered as someone who cared about the world and others who live in it and occupy it, and spent a large portion of their life giving back to this community that is so very important to me.
What I see for me in the future is to become a professional actor, actress, and to do the best that I can, and also to be happy under my own skin without having to worry about the past.
This year, I definitely do see a lot of changes happening. I definitely see a brighter opportunity for our voices to be heard and for a change to be made.
I would like people to remember me as having been an example of unconditional love.
I could walk around with a resentful spirit, mad at the world because they don't understand why I'm transgender or don't understand this transgender thing. I could do that, or I could make a difference and try to educate and help my people and become the activist that I've become. And so when I'm long gone, I just hope that people will know that I really tried to use my life. I'm sorry. I really tried to use my life to make a difference for the generations to come. I just hope that they know that.
People really need to realize that we're all created so beautifully different, and that's awesome. That's to be celebrated.
I love the fact that I am a transgender woman, that I have been an immigrant. I love the fact that I am a person living and surviving with HIV. And I love the fact that I am here and that every day I have an opportunity to make my world and my community a better place.